So, we have a plan, as we said in the last episode. We have a plan that was set by LeBron James, right? When he initially came to the Lakers. You had said that you thought he felt like he could totally get Anthony Davis, right?
Yes.
Turns out that's exactly what the fuck happened. They tried to make it happen at the trade deadline of the 2019 season, but as soon as Anthony Davis made it to the end of the year, they traded for him because they gave up Josh Hart, they gave up Lonzo, they gave up Brandon Ingram, and they gave up picks to get a walking double-double, basically a walking 20 and 10, and a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. And in my opinion, the best thing for LeBron's career. You could argue a couple of other things, but in my opinion, this could be one of this could be the best thing for his career. I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going on the limb.
Okay.
This probably is the biggest thing because Anthony Davis looked at LeBron and had the nutsack since Dwayne Wade. Nobody besides Dwayne Wade could look at LeBron and go, "You're not fucking doing your job."
Yeah.
We had talked about this.
Play D, boy.
We have about 10 hours of this. If you guys want to
go back into our archive,
about our reactions in the moment, we have a ton of content on this, so I'm not going to dive too deep into this. But it's that thought of Anthony Davis could say, "Bron, you're being lazy on defense. You need to stop that shit."
So what happened to make him feel this way is last year there was like a blooper reel for LeBron James where he's like tosses the ball. I don't know if they have that, but
I can get it. It'll be on your screen.
Yeah, when he like throws the ball in front of himself and then he kicks it or some shit and it goes out of balance.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma pushes him to go try to block the defender. You get to see Russell's cool editing because he's probably doing it right now. And yeah, it was a lot of pretty funny shit because on Twitter they were killing LeBron.
Yeah. Much like they had done to James Harden.
Yeah.
And by they, we mean NBA Twitter.
Yeah.
That's in full force.
Yeah.
And has full autonomous power over the league and its players.
Yeah. So, but not just the adding of Anthony Davis in this offseason. They had, like, Rob Pelinka had a pretty good offseason, in my opinion, based off of the resources he had going into that offseason. So during free agency, they were kind of holding out to get Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard was a free agent right after winning the Toronto championship.
Yes,
and
they had tried to get him the year before. Also, they tried to get him from the Spurs, but the Spurs wanted the house.
Yes, and the Spurs also didn't like. They were gonna make them. They were gonna make them give up a ton. Or nothing because the Spurs were really big on not trading to the same conference. Like that's like if you look at any Spurs trade, they don't really trade to the same conference.
Especially not the fucking Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. so Kawhi holds out. We already know he goes to the Clippers on some hating shit, and now we got a Kawhi fan over here. She's a little hidden, but whatever.
Yeah, what? What's happening?
No, nothing. But because Kawhi held out, because Kawhi was the opposite of a diva during this whole time. I feel like most guys make it all on him.
He was the only guy who took LeBron's injury to full advantage and said, "Fuck it, I'm taking the championship. I'm taking all of that." Because look, the reason he left San Antonio was because he wanted to have more spotlight, and he fucking got it. You know what I mean? When he won that championship in Toronto,
San Antonio was because of that.
It was one of the bigger reasons. Is because him and his weird uncle were like, he's not getting enough. He's not getting enough. He's not getting enough publicity. And think about it. Remember when he came to the Clippers?
Yeah.
Immediately, the commercials came out like, "This is our town now. We run shit.
That's crazy. I never thought about it like that. Because I thought because the Spurs did that, we're trying to say that he was lying. Because remember, Tony Parker had the whole. I'm not trying to make a freaking.
Oh, this is all fucking involved in it.
Yeah, but
it is a
Tony
spot
Parker had a whole freaking meeting and pretty much called Kawhi out and saying like, "Bro, why you not playing when my injury was 100 times worse?" I think his exact wording was, "My injury was 100 times worse than yours." And guess what? That because Tony Parker played through his injury, it ended his career. So,
yeah, I was about to say, didn't he break down heavy?
Yeah, because he did that. And it was like, Kawhi's like, bro, just because you're an idiot doesn't mean I'm going to be an idiot.
Let's be real for 2 seconds, then we're going to move on from 38-year-old Tony Parker. He went to the Charlotte Hornets, which means he had his soul sucked out by the GOAT, Michael Jordan. That's what happens to every player.
Oh my God. This guy is going to literally have this freaking theory all the way until Jordan freaking wins a championship. Like has one of his teams win a championship.
And it's going to be a group of Kawhi Leonard style, mute, soulless looking beings.
Yo, I don't know if y'all know, but LaMelo, we're not doing this. No, I'm not doing this. I'm talking about LaMelo now. Like, what the fuck? No, this is not happening. So,
this was a fucking insane season, right? Even though it was just this last year, I do want to talk about some of the wild turns and like craziness that was the 2020 NBA season.
Yeah.
David Stern passed away. You had, but even before that, terrible controversy with China, right? Daryl Morey saying his bullshit about China, and then LeBron has
Please stop.
Fuck, I can't, man.
LeBron has to.
Every time I hear the word,
son of a bitch! If you make me over-edit this, I'll kill you. But if LeBron goes on and says, "This is America," whatever, he gets in the, doing LeBron things.
Yep.
Then David Stern dies, the longtime commissioner of the NBA. He dies in December, right? And then in July of 2020, or in January of 2020, excuse me, Kobe Bryant passes away tragically. And the Lakers dedicate their season. And LeBron really takes control of the, Lakers nation. Here's what I mean by that. You can explain this better. Explain this better.
So truly, just the way this whole thing worked out was just crazy because LeBron, the day before Kobe passed, had just finished passing Kobe on the all-time scoring list.
Yeah.
And that was a whole big deal. I think Kobe texted him that night. And then literally the very next morning, he passes in obviously a tragic airplane accident.
Helicopter.
Helicopter, my bad. And after that whole month was dreadful for the NBA. I feel like
fucking A.
A bunch of people had emotional ass games. Damian Lillard dropped 50 after that, every single game.
Tatum went crazy.
Yeah, who?
Tatum.
Oh yeah,
really insane stretch. But
LeBron, when LeBron first came to the team, it was literally adding an enemy. That's truly most Laker fans. And even during last year and this year, Kobe had to pretty much tell Laker fans to embrace this dude.
That happened at the beginning of this season. Before he passed away, he made a statement, or I don't know whether it was a tweet or something, but it'll be on your screen where he essentially says, we got to start getting on the LeBron bandwagon. If you're not a LeBron fan, you're not a real Laker fan, that type of shit.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Because I remember, I was always I guess I got a root for you, but I'm not really a fan of you. I don't, I'm never gonna, want you to win more than Kobe kind of thing. That was just the thing. Being a Kobe fan, it was always Kobe versus LeBron. And as we went through this LeBron legacy breakdown, you see that from 2007 all the way to freaking 2013, I couldn't stop talking about Kobe. And that's not me trying to be purposefully sucking Kobe's cock, even though I do that naturally. It's more so because that's how I felt at that time. Like at that time, it was always Kobe versus LeBron, no matter what LeBron was doing. And
They were the
Never
forefront
faced
of the
each other.
NBA.
Yeah, they never faced each other in the finals or anything, but there was that rivalry then that they were even trying to push during that time. So after Kobe's passing and like just seeing LeBron's emotions on this and like him not even being able to talk and like it made me notice like these guys were actually friends. Like these people like actually knew each other, cared about each other, and like that's what kind of opened me up to be able to like embrace LeBron more, because I'm like, damn, like imagine just hating this dude and then now like and then something like this happens to him, God forbid, you know, like he gets an airplane accident or something, a helicopter accident, and then now you don't have LeBron James anymore, and it's like LeBron has done a lot of shit in this like world, not only in the NBA but in this world, and it's just like to hate on somebody like that just doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I try to give away my LeBron hate. It's still kind of deep in there somewhere whenever we talk about Kobe, but for the most part, I try to show love to the dude. I would have never said LeBron was the second greatest player of all time. Never.
But the biggest thing that I took from an outsider's perspective was he was fully embraced by Laker Nation after the Kobe thing that happened. After Kobe passed and he came out, and as we saw, he rips up the prepared speech he had, and he talks from the heart. That could have been planned, but fucking, it was great. He got the crowd in the palm of his hand. Fucking Laker Nation basically adopted him after that point, and it was like the best thing for this season in terms of motivation because they were on a mission.
Yeah.
At least for this season, the outside of the Kobe stuff and what had happened with him, the narrative was the Clippers were trying to say that it's their city now. They were the more successful team. The Lakers had gone through a decade of dumpster fire bullshit, and the Clippers had Blake Griffin with Lob City and Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and made Lindsay a basketball fan.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they did.
And
they did take the city for a little bit.
They'd been made way more relevant. And since Steve Ballmer had owned the Clippers, it's basically Clippers with the advantage until this point. So that was the big plan. They wanted to get them to, or the narrative was these teams must be in the Western Conference Finals.
Is it weird for me to think that Steve Ballmer is like a cooler owner than my girl Jeannie?
No, Jeannie Buss is annoying, in my opinion.
And Steve Ballmer just looks adorable.
I don't feel that way about you, Jeannie.
Well, hold on. Steve Ballmer is also annoying, but I can tolerate his level of annoying a little more than I can tolerate.
He's like that person that just gets overexcited about something, and like it's almost adorable in their overexcitedness. Like he's like over there crushing his cup because he couldn't contain it. Like who? Like me and him. What grown ass man doesn't realize they have a plastic cup in their hand and they're gonna spill soda everywhere, but they're so excited they're gonna crush it anyways. Like grown ass man.
Yeah, that's a little over. Like too much for me, but I feel like if I was to like be chilling with him at a game and he'd be wilding like that, I'd be wilding too. We would have fun.
Yeah. Oh, well, you didn't put it that way. I would, if you're talking about who would you rather be sitting next to courtside, Ballmer. I feel like that's by a mile.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
By a country mile.
I just feel like it's cooler to have him as like the guy that like running your organization or like the owner of your organization, because you see like how much he's into it and like
fucking screaming at Kawhi and Paul George when he's on the stage with them.
So the thing with these Lakers that I found pretty interesting versus any other LeBron James like built super team, even though this is not really like, because usually LeBron James's super teams are 3 guys, you know?
Right.
And this is the first time he's built it with just 2 and they're role players, which we've mentioned a lot of times for this season, but I love the parity in the league this year because it made you like the whole year we were texting the group chat, we were freaking texting each other and saying like we didn't really know who was going to win the championship. Oh, besides me because I was saying it was the Lakers because I was a Laker fan.
Yeah,
but like, it was just fun watching this season. But the Lakers were always good during the whole year. They were in the number 1 or 2 seed the whole year, and they never had that down stretch that LeBron James teams usually have.
And that is what I was talking about with Anthony Davis. I think without Anthony Davis pushing LeBron every day and vice versa, I don't think that's the case. I think you get another one of those teams that coast defensively, that'll just wait till the playoffs to turn up, that kind of shit. But LeBron, for the first time in his career, leads the league in assists this season.
Yes.
And is second in MVP voting.
But
and way more deserving in my opinion.
He's like top 20 in like defensive win shares, I think, or some shit like that.
What could have helped them keep their steam was the thing that we waited but we didn't talk about of the 2020 season. What gave them a break in the middle of the season?
Nah, don't be trying to front on my team right now, though.
Well, this is what wait, hold on, time out. Right before the big break due to the pandemic, right before the big break, there was serious talks about, is LeBron taking the MVP from Giannis?
Exactly.
That was happening. There were stories out that was starting to happen. LeBron was, what did he average, 11 assists a game this year?
Yeah, but the weekend before, like a weekend, like 2 weeks before the pandemic happened and everything shut down.
I have him at 10.2 assists.
Yeah, but I think the bubble fucked him up. Like, he was averaging 11 before the bubble. I'm pretty
right. Sure. I'm not bugging out.
Yeah,
I got to check that. We could get that right now.
Yeah, as you look it up, I could. Yeah. So LeBron had a weekend where he faced the Clippers and Milwaukee, and I think Denver too.
Yep.
I want to say, and they smoked them.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron took over in the fourth quarter in both games, and he really was wilding.
So 25, 10.6 assists, 8 rebounds, and a steal, shooting about 50% before the bubble.
The bubble, yeah.
And that weekend that you're alluding to, he was 37 against Milwaukee in a win, 28 in a win against the Clippers the very 2 nights later, right?
Yeah.
34 against the Pelicans earlier that 29 against Brooklyn. He's playing great.
Yep.
And he's coming for the I think if the season had finished out, it would have been a real close debate because people were worried about Giannis.
Well, Giannis got
injured. We were worried about Giannis.
Giannis got injured.
Apex greatness exists at this point. We were worried about Giannis.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed like the playoffs, what was going to happen to playoffs? I was very optimistic, but that was the thing, was 30 minutes a game, playing 30 minutes a game, do minutes matter with Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks because he was putting up 30 points in 30 minutes a game.
Yeah. But Giannis also, I think Giannis would have lost out on the MVP because he would have because he was injured. Remember, he got that knee injury. If the season would have played out, LeBron would have probably won MVP.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Giannis would have missed a month or 2.
But
fully recovering, yeah.
But unfortunately, LeBron did not win the MVP. There's totally a case to be made this season. I think this is one of his better cases for MVP of the ones he did not win.
Yeah.
However, he enters a situation in the coronavirus bubble, which in my opinion, I felt like it was his championship to lose in that scenario. Because of all the years he'd spent building his head up and building his mental focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And 2007 LeBron wouldn't have won this shit.
Fuck no. I don't think 2011 LeBron wins this.
Hell no. 2011 LeBron wouldn't have won this shit.
I definitely don't think that. I think there are I think 2018 LeBron would have probably done the same thing, right?
But to me, they're the same person. But
but I think this LeBron's got much happier with his team.
Oh yeah, sure. But the same level of what he can do.
But Frank Vogel is the coach, defensive minded. They are top 5 in defense this year, correct?
Yeah, I think they were number 1.
Yeah.
At least they were number one in the West. Sorry.
And they finished number one in the West. They go into the playoffs and they look good. In my opinion, they looked good.
Yes.
In good portion of postseason, they were, a lot of people were worried about them versus Denver.
They look good in the playoffs, or
yeah,
remember,
I thought they looked good in the playoffs. There was nervousness about their depth, right?
Yeah, but I just remember in the bubble because of the bubble situation, like they had played pretty bad, but they only had to win the Clippers game to
Oh, you're saying in the regular season portion?
Yeah, because So from the regular season, I think that once they won the Clippers game, they sealed first the number one seed.
Right.
And going into this playoffs, they were playing bad, a bad stretch of basketball.
That's true.
And everybody questioned, like, is LeBron, like, because LeBron wasn't playing like
he was playing. He looked a little rusty and old.
Yeah.
And but once the playoffs started, it looked good, and Rondo was the main key that like kind of unlocked a lot of what was going on for LA.
But Rondo didn't come until the second round, I think. Right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think the first round, I remember the first round, like even like Charles Barkley freaking thought that he predicted that Portland would win the series in 7.
Oh, well, this was his guarantee type shit. I guarantee.
Yeah, didn't he do like 4 guarantees this offseason and all of them were wrong?
Yeah, they were all wrong.
It's just like bet against what Charles Barkley is saying.
Yeah. Anything he guarantees, you must
yes, bet against.
No, I'm wrong. You're completely right. That's true. In the regular season and leading into the playoffs, there was a lot of questions about what they were doing, but I just think do you think the Clippers would have really given them a lot of problems had they made it to the Western Final?
No.
Oh, wait, tell me. You didn't? That's the only reason I'm laughing is because y'all could go back to the archives, and that was we did.
What happened? No.
Yeah, both had Clippers. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, both had Clippers beating the Lakers.
Yeah, I did too.
All right.
Yeah, but that was before the playoffs happened, and before the Clippers just decided to poop in the playoffs the whole time.
And that was also
it wasn't going to happen.
That was also to troll you immensely.
Yeah, that too.
I can feel that. but nah, I thought going if the Lakers went against the Clippers that they'd beat them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only because I was a Lakers fan. I had some backup before, but it was mainly the Clippers chemistry and stuff like that. It wasn't because the Lakers were that much better than the Clippers, in my opinion. I thought the Clippers had probably a better team, but the chemistry just. So I'm not gonna go over my whole hypothesis of it. You can go back to the
hypothesis, not hypotenuse.
We're not gonna do we're not going to do our usual series by series breakdown because we literally we have 2 hours in this NBA Finals from last year. We have a 2-hour podcast. If you want to hear us deep dive into everything there, please check that out, and I'll link it. But we can revisit this because we've spent this entire 2 months now looking back through each season, and we know that LeBron and Pat Riley's relationship is not one that's friendly.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is to this day, but I will guarantee you this.
Oh, it's petty.
Men wanted to win. LeBron wanted to win for the Lakers, and Pat Riley wanted LeBron to fucking lose.
Yeah. And that was a travel, what he just did. He took 3
on the screen. That was a walk. That was a walk. I've never seen a bigger one.
Yeah, that's
but they make it to the NBA Finals. They go up against a game Miami Heat team. This team has had a lot of momentum, beating Milwaukee. They beat them in the second round, right?
Yep.
And then they
swept them. Right?
They played the Celtics in the finals.
Yeah.
And
I know you remember that sweep, Russ.
They swept them? They didn't sweep.
It might have been a 5-piece, but
yeah, I was like, I didn't
remember the sweep.
I would have remembered the sweep.
Wait, no. I think they swept them.
No, they didn't. I'm pretty sure it was like 5 or 6 games.
We'll have the info up on your screens, people.
Yeah. Because if they swept them, I would have had to take way more shit here on the show.
You did. You went. It was a lot. I kind of feel bad for you.
Whatever. Fucking. But this team had a lot of depth. Jimmy Butler was playing at his best, and it was two mentally tough teams and hard-nosed teams going against each other, and it just felt like the Heat just ran out of gas at the end of the series. Yeah, like you weren't going to get Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler basically had to pull LeBron from 2016 and get 40 every game.
Yeah, which made you respect him, which was pretty awesome because we have documented proof that Russell says fuck Jimmy Butler anytime he can, and he actually gave him respect after the series, which I thought.
Yeah, dude. But do you think LeBron felt extra satisfaction in this because it was Miami, or do you think it's something that he wasn't even thinking about, didn't care about?
No, he definitely
Michael Jordan style approach to this finals. Personal.
See, MJ was just super petty. Like I feel like LeBron definitely cared about beating Miami, but not like MJ was just on another level of petty with all his shit. But hi Ellie. But like a little deer in the back there. Like, but I definitely think he cared about winning. But now, like after actually going through all of his season, like series and finals that he won, like does this one not feel like the easiest one that he won?
Wow, that's a 180 from what we had talked about last year. Let's talk about that.
Like in terms of like the actual series and him like he faced adversity in almost every for the most part. I guess OKC was one that wasn't as, but it was the pressure of winning the first one that kind of.
Sure.
And I think here is just it didn't feel it like after going through it, like I don't know, like playing in the bubble was definitely tough, and I think that was the tough part of the series. But this actual finals, I think, was the easiest matchup and the easiest like chip that he won, like in terms of like finals opponent and everything, and like it just didn't even, I never truly felt like Miami could beat the Lakers.
I keep going back to this, but I really believe it's true. I think Anthony Davis made him more edgy about it. And I like think about like whenever they put the Mamba jerseys on.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like,
that was a big
whenever you heard them in interviews, whenever you heard either Anthony Davis or LeBron in interviews, is we will not lose in these jerseys.
Yeah.
And it was just that, matter of fact.
But they lost
jerseys. I know, but like you understand what I'm saying. That was the narrative for a long time.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Especially through the playoffs and while they had the Mamba jerseys. But going back to the pressure statement, you don't think Kobe passing away and them, you don't think they felt pressure to win that championship there? You don't think that's equal pressure? Because I thought that was a lot of pressure.
Yeah, yep. I do think so. But I think I'm talking about
the level of competition, maybe.
No, I'm talking about like the actual finals. Like
you think this Miami Heat team is the worst team he's faced?
Oh, for sure. It's not even close. And
really?
I think because I don't think maybe because of play style or something. Maybe I don't even know. Like I
think you need to wait a few years because look at Oklahoma City. If you had waited a year, like the year that had happened, I don't think people were looking at it like there are 3 future MVPs on that Oklahoma City team. Remember how we were talking about that championship's going to look better as time goes on?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe Tyler Hero becomes an all-star. Maybe look at Bam Adebayo. Like that guy's a freak. It just.
But I'm just thinking about the pressure on LeBron in that because the OKC was actually a very formidable threat. Like they were the second in the West.
Yeah.
Like they had just beat the Spurs. Like they were definitely a really good team to beat.
Sure.
Like, and I just look at this Heat team was the 5th seed. Like a lot of people felt like they shouldn't have even been there. Like it's just more so of that. But I know that being in the bubble, the pressure between the BLM movement, the freaking Kobe passing, all of that added to this whole journey, and that's why I say like this is one of like LeBron's biggest accomplishments.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about this actual finals. Like it just makes me feel like this is such an easy W for him. Like I don't know, he dogged them, and it was like I never felt like this finals was at like that he was ever gonna lose it. Like against OKC, I felt like he had a chance of losing the finals. Against the Spurs, obviously, they had it right in the bag. Like that was arguably one of the greatest finals ever. Against the Warriors, he was down 3-1. Like so,
I get your point.
The least cinematic finals.
I understand that we agree 100%. Like I think it's a little bit more cinematic than the 07, just because they got swept and it was.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about out of the ones he won. That's my thing.
Sure. Then if that's the case, for sure, I agree.
He was able to put away the Thunder in 5 games, but he put away the Heat in 6.
Yeah, but again, that has to do more. I think what Dario's saying is that has to do more with the everything surrounding the actual games than the games itself. Like you still think that Thunder team's way better than this Heat team.
Yeah, and you also felt like the Thunder could come back like when I was watching it, I didn't think the Thunder were just gonna like not until they went down. I think 3-1 is when I was like, okay, this is over. But when even at 2-1, I felt like the Thunder could come back, and it was not even only. It wasn't because I was rooting for them. It was because I know how good that team was. Like I watched them play, and it was so that
I genuinely felt like this was a competitive series. Only because I said genuinely already, but I felt that Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra would come with a good game plan for LeBron. But one thing that I learned after this series is that LeBron cannot be game planned for like that anymore.
Yeah.
The way he was 10 years prior to this point, where it was like you keep him outside, you let him dictate, or you don't let him get in the lane. To an extent, that is the same game plan that people use today. But LeBron is so much smarter, and he's got so many more.
But that is the best way to try to contain him. Like I think it's much like you can't really contain him, but if there was a way to like at least hold him down for a little bit, I think that's the best way. It's
so hard to stop him especially at this point in his career. It's very hard to stop him when he's fully healthy and fully focused. It's hard to stop him from making winning plays every single game.
Yeah.
Like no matter what he does, scoring, passing, rebound, whatever. Like
just to show him some love. For you to say at this point in his career and him being in his 17th season, like that's just insane. But just some love.
It's true though. Like it's just true. Like at this point, I'll be very surprised because now we're going to talk about hypotheticals after this. So we can talk about his future and what comes next for him really quick. I think that as long as he maintains health and that focus, like I was talking about, he should be favorited in every series that he's in going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be surprised if he loses outside of losing to like a Brooklyn or a super team like that. If it's head up competition, he should win the championship every year, like in any year that the competition is even going forward. Yeah. Until he drops off athletically or he drops off from an IQ standpoint, because of how well he takes care of his body, who knows when that's going to happen.
Yeah. And to add to your point, like in reality, this is the first season LeBron got to face teams where they're at equal playing field. Like for a very long time. Like because all the way his whole 4 years, and we went through it, all 4 years with the Cavs, he pretty much went against a super team.
Yeah.
Like
outside of that first year, but that first year he didn't have the pieces because of injury.
Yeah. Like that was this that we went through, and we were like, I was like, why didn't I remember saying it throughout this in the season? Like, damn, like LeBron, this was LeBron's championship to win, but he had fucking injury issues like in his team. Here he had there was parity in the league clearly, and you didn't know who was going to be the best team, but we should have really thought that it was going to be LeBron. But after coming off of that groin injury, it made you question it,
Yeah.
And so.
But I felt very good about the Lakers' chances to win a championship in this season because of everything I was hearing from LeBron and Anthony Davis. That partnership's just money going forward. And if they're injured, both of them are injured as we record this right now, going into the 2021 playoffs that are about to happen within the next month.
Yeah.
And I think if those guys are back and they're 100%, they should be your Western Conference representative.
Yeah.
Why it's got to be that way in an even playing field, in my opinion. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I cannot help but compare this playoff run to Shaq and Kobe's 0-1 season. First year they win the championship, they dominate, right? They go through the playoffs, pretty much win pretty easily. Bam. And then the second season, which I think is the 0-1 season, Shaq gets injured, then Kobe gets injured. And then they go into the playoffs, both healthy, and they completely smash.
Yeah, they go almost undefeated.
This is going like very similar to what happened with those two Lakers, the dynamic duo. It's very similar. AD gets injured, then LeBron gets injured, and they're probably gonna go into the playoffs remotely healthy, and let's see what happens.